In today's blog, I'm going to show you how to use Excel to create a Pareto analysis. So what is that? It's an analytical technique for determining the areas of greatest weakness. It's used in the business world a lot from the standpoint of going in and looking all the possible causes of a problem and then trying to figure out which of them are the most important. And it's based on this what's called the 80-20 rule, and it's the idea that 20% of the possible causes generate 80% of the problems. So if you go into a business and there's a lot of issues within the business, let's say customer service, maybe you do a poll to find out what are the things that people do not like about customer service. The ones that have the largest percentage, those are the ones you need to work on the most. So the numbers in terms of 80-20 aren't always set in stone, so they fluctuate just a tad, but that's the essential rule. So how do we do this? Well, the first is our data collection, our survey data. So we run a survey and we use one choice with one question. In other words, we want to make sure that the question that we're using has only one possible choice. So you'll see here I've got it. Which indicator of the team rubric do you feel is your greatest weakness? Then I have the possible answers. These are the possible answers here. Okay? And these are all of the answers I get. So what we want to know is how many times are each of these over here in column E. To do that, what we can say is equals count if. Then we're going to say E colon E. We're just going to use the whole column. We'll do comma, and then we're going to look at A2. That's where we're going to start. So then we get 5. We scroll down, and now there's our results. Now one of the things I want to do is I'm going to right click and copy this. And then I'm going to right click, I got to copy it again real quick. So Control C, paste special. That way I have the numbers as opposed to the formula because I want to just delete this out of the way. So now we know we're looking at the weakness. So team rubric indicators, here's our count. Here we go. Now the next step we want to do, once we've tabulated the results, is we're going to arrange the data from largest to highest. So we're going to highlight this. Sort and filter, custom, and we're going to do count, and we're going to make this largest to smallest. And so now you'll see how it goes down. So our next step here is to do the percentage. What we want to know here is what percentage do these each make up. So first off, I need to know the sum of each of these, which is 91. Now my next step here is to come up here and I want to know what that percentage is. So in this case here, what we can do is to look at our percentage. So finding our percentage. This is what we want to look at. What we're going to do is we're going to go over here and I'm just going to make sure, I want to set this to percentage just so it comes up the way I want it to look. And what we'll do, we're going to say equals, and then we're going to say that's B2 divided by B14, but we need to do a $sign so that stays consistent. So there's your answer, is 19.78%. So we scroll down, all the way down, then we get to 100, and then we're going to take a decimal off. So that's our results. 19, 16, 5, 15, 4, 11. So as we go down here, but the question of course is we know that these 4 areas are an issue, but the question is do all 4 of them lie within the 80% or maybe do just 1 or 2 of them? So here's our next thing. What we're going to do is we're going to go in to this insert tab. We're going to highlight this. And then we're going to come over here to this insert and you'll see insert the statistics chart. And we're going to choose this, Pareto. Now when we do that, let's bring it up nice and big and look at it. You'll notice what it's done for us. It's gone in and it's graphed us our information here, and it drew our line, which represents column C. So now when we look at this, it goes 0 to 100 by 10%. This goes 0 to 18, up to 20. So that's what we want. Now we do of course just want to, as always, clean this up. So we'll come over here. We'll bold them, make them a little bigger. Same thing here and here. So now we're able to read those a lot better. And then our chart title, we're going to call this Team Rubric Weaknesses. Okay, now, so you notice we format the graph, so we went in and did some cleaning up here. So now we want to insert a horizontal line from 80% to where it meets the curve. So this way, we'll go into Insert. We're going to come over here and we're going to find, I might have to make this a little bigger so I can find it a little better. There we go, Shapes. And we'll come right here where it meets this line right there. Then we'll do the same thing. We'll go down. So what we're saying then is here is the area where we're going to spend a lot less time. This is the area we're going to spend the greatest amount of time. Now, from our perspective, when we look at this with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 possible things, one of the things that we would do is we would pull this to the left some and mark it here. That way we know from a standpoint of which exact standards. We don't want it in the middle, obviously. So now if we do it this way, so now we're looking at, okay, questioning, academic feedback, problem solving, thinking, and motivating students. Those things right there, those 20% are the biggest weaknesses that we have. In other words, we don't need to spend a lot of time with grouping or academic, activities and materials. We don't spend a lot of time on this end of covering these rubric standards. In other words, we need to spend a lot of time here, and in particular, these 3 here. So that's one of the ways for us to kind of get an idea of where we want to cover and how we want to organize things out as you plan, is using this Pareto analysis. And you can do this. The nice thing is you can do this with a lot of different things. I've done it before with looking at standards. I've done it before in looking at ACT stuff, trying to figure out where the biggest weaknesses are and running this exact analysis. So this is something that's pretty handy. And Microsoft has made it 10 times easier than it used to be, because before the 2013 version, you actually had to do this and then this separately, and by doing a couple different things. Now, of course, they do it for you. So that's how to run that analysis.